Welcome back to Schoolhouse Cracked. The new school year is about to start in a couple short weeks. I'm Dr. MC. With me is Mr. Brett Derickson, and today we're going to talk to parents in a Schoolhouse Cracked short about what parents can do at the start of a school year to help your students be successful. Number one, strong sleep habits, strong sleep hygiene.
Yeah, absolutely. When do you feel worst at work? It's when you've had restless sleep or you didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
For the teen brain, as you know, this is more important than anything. You got to establish those routines. You got to stick to it. You got to help them get to bed so that they can have their rest, so that they can think and feel better.
Yep. So what are those habits each night that we start with our students and especially our young students to get them ready to have a restful night of sleep and wake up first thing in the morning, and keeping those routines and habits every night, whether it's brushing your teeth and then taking a shower and then petting the dog and then going to bed, turning in your phone to the charger so we're not looking at our phones late at night, which leads us into number two to help your students be successful. Monitor the screen time and check out where those phones are going at bedtime.
Absolutely. If we're going to go back to sleep for this one, nothing's interrupting your child's sleep more than their use of their social media or their screen time. Have a central location, 9 o'clock, whatever your time is. For in our house, it's 9 o'clock. Get those things onto the charging machine at a central location. Take away from them those temptations to continue communicating with their peers or to let TikTok be feeding into their brains. I'm not here to criticize what young people are doing at this point. We just simply know that screen time is disruptive to their brains and hurts their ability to get up and get ready to go for school.
And if your kid tells you that their phone and being on their phone helps them relax before bedtime, that is total BS. The research and the science tells us that the stimulation caused by the screens and the cell phones and those social interactions are actually increasing neurochemicals in our brains that keep us awake longer and help and struggle to help us fall asleep faster. So monitor those phones.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're the parent. TikTok's not. Take it away from them. They don't need it at that time. They can get back to it the next day.
Number four, this is one I tell families all the time, is when your kid gets home from school, create a place and a space to do that academic schoolwork. We see a lot of students come home from school and they get right on their cell phones, they get right on video games, but creating that place where once I'm in that chair, this is my academic place and I'm in an academic mindset to finish my homework.
Yeah, and that has everything to do with your own family. Dr. Motor Channel just skipped to number 4. That's what smart guys do. We'll come back to number 3 here in a second.
Oh.
But absolutely, whatever your family is. We do the dinner table thing, and you and I have talked about that before, but give them a place to set their things out, have their cell phones flat on the table, and just be the person in the household as the parent who's managing their time, so that they know that when they sit down, they're buckling down. The more they move around for their school supplies, the more they move around to do this, that, and the other thing, the more distracted they're going to be and the less efficient they're going to be with doing their homework.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool research out there over the years that you're more likely to succeed academically when the environment in which you're learning is consistent, even to the point of having the same place to test increases your likelihood of academic success. Circling back to actually number 3, that's easing into the school day.
Easing into the school day. I mean, and I don't want to act like we're high and mighty on this one. This is one I struggle with the most, Marcus. But the whole point is get them up early enough. They don't have to have this massive buffet of a breakfast, but give them a breakfast. Let them sit down, go over the school day. This is not a time to tell them that they need to do better today. It's a time for encouragement, for calm, for mindfulness, whatever those things that you are in your house to nurture your mind, your body, and your spirit, whether that's prayer or meditation or stretching or just listening to some light music. But we don't need the arguments. We don't need the reminders that we're not, all the things that we have to do. Let them ease into the school day. The school's got plenty of stress for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that mindful minute, really, first thing in the morning. I'm guilty of it myself. First thing I wake up, I have to stop myself from looking at my phone. We know that pre-wires us for stress and anxiety the minute we wake up. And so needing some time, needing at least an hour before you stare at that phone, and doing what I call a mindful minute. Do something where you just settle yourself, recenter yourself on a day, even if it's only for a minute. And the last thing I will say, and this is a great story you always told me, is give your student enough time to be prepared. You told me about the time your son jumped out of the car and ran into the school only wearing one shoe. And mind you, he's a teenager.
Not my little young guy at pre-K. We're talking about my middle school student at that point in time. But what happens when I'm not ready in the morning, and when our kids aren't ready in the morning, is that we start shouting at each other, we're arguing. That's not the way to start off the day. It's not perfectly unavoidable. We're human folks, and we have families. But can you do something this summer to think more intentionally about how you get your morning kicked off?
Absolutely. And number 5, least but not last, last but not least, I said that backwards on,
Yeah.
and I'm counting out of order as well. But the final one is old school calendar, and I know you're a big fan of this one. Brett.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, and but the point is that know what the week's got entail, whether it's the week or the month. But what happens a lot of times in our family is we're running through like, hey, where are you supposed to be today? What's going on? Why didn't you tell me this? So on and so forth. Good old fashioned. It doesn't matter. It's not going to ruin how the kitchen looks or the living room. Have a physical place where people can write in where they're supposed to be, who's giving who a ride, how are we going to get there. But the more that can be mapped out for your child in their day or their week means that they can get to focusing on what they need to do, not wondering what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and just a caveat there is we're not talking about overscheduling your kids. We're just talking about helping the family, parents, guardians, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and this, more importantly, the kid know where they're supposed to be and when so they can plan in advance.
Yeah, just pull that stress off their brain, let them get to work on things they need to do.
So as the school year gets underway here in just a couple short weeks, those were 5 quick tips for student success at home and at school. As always, with me is Mr. Brett Derickson. I'm Dr. Marcus Motor-Chandler. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, check us out on our YouTube channel and our podcast at Schoolhouse Cracked. And send us your thoughts, comments, feedback at schoolhousecracked@gmail.com. We'll see you in our next short.
Good luck developing those routines. Have a great day.